state is pushing back against a federal ruling that blocks the nitrogen gas execution of a man convicted in a double murder case. Thanks for joining us at 4. I'm Guy Rawlings.
And I'm Brittany Decker. The Alabama Attorney General filed an appeal and the other side responded today. This all comes after U.S. District Judge Emily Marks ruled yesterday the nitrogen hypoxia execution protocol violated the 8th Amendment, which prohibits cruel and unusual punishment.
Her order came just days before death row inmate Jeffrey Lee was set to die by nitrogen gas. Lee was sentenced to death after a jury found him guilty in the 1998 murder robbery of Jimmy Ellis and Elaine Thompson in Orville. The jury sentenced him to life without parole, but the judge overseeing the case overrode the jury's recommendation and gave him death. The judges are no longer allowed to override juries in the state.
We have our WVTM 13 Zoe Blair, who is joining us live this evening in Birmingham.
Zoe, it's unclear as to what this means for future executions and this fairly new means of carrying them out.
That's right. 2 years ago, Kenneth Eugene Smith was the first person in the United States to be executed using nitrogen hypoxia right here in Alabama. And since then, the state has used that execution method several other times. Now, thanks to a federal ruling from a judge yesterday that could change soon. Today, I spoke with Reverend Dr. Jeffrey Hood, who tells me he's seen this execution method in action and he absolutely believes it should be banned.
You're suffocating people to death. I mean, the reason that this is happening, the reason that Judge Marks ruled that this was unconstitutional is because it is and it was from the very beginning.
Reverend Dr. Jeffrey Hood served as the spiritual advisor to 2 of the Alabama inmates executed using nitrogen gas. He was in the chamber for Kenneth Eugene Smith, the first in the nation.
The nitrogen starts, he begins to heave back and forth. The back of the mask was affixed to the gurney, so every time he heaves forward, he's hitting the mask over and over again from the inside.
After the first nitrogen execution, Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall spoke in support of the method, saying he expects Alabama to be the first state of many.
I now suspect that many states will follow. As of last night, nitrogen epoxy as a means of execution is no longer an untested method. It is a proven one.
But Hood says, seeing it in action, he thinks the ruling was right to stop it as a method of execution.
If we're going to do this, we want to do it right. And we're not interested in sitting here and doing these exotic execution methods. We're not interested in sitting here doing these experiments. We believe that human life matters. And we believe that, that torture is against every value that we believe in.
While there's still a chance for the Supreme Court to allow nitrogen gas executions to move forward, Hood says this is a step in the right direction, and he's hoping this step is the first of many.
This case, it is my prayer that this case, this ruling, is taking us to this space of nobody ever being suffocated by their government in this country again.
Now, I've reached out to Governor Kay Ivey's office with questions about how yesterday's ruling could impact tomorrow's scheduled execution of Jeffrey Lee. The only question so far they've answered is that he still will be executed. The execution is moving forward as planned. I asked if it would happen, when it would happen, and how it would happen. All they've said is that it is moving forward as planned. They did not comment on whether or not they were using nitrogen hypoxia or one of the state's other 2 approved methods, lethal injection or the electric chair. Now, Lee had requested the use of a firing squad, which Alabama does not currently offer, but in Judge Marks' ruling, she said that the state had not currently provided a suitable reason why that wasn't an option for him. Live in Birmingham, Zoe Blair, WVTM 13.